This right here is another rare survival from the period of the American Revolution, and this is a Hessian military rifle. Rifles were used by a number of militaries in the 18th century. Famously, American riflemen were the kind of bane of the British Army, at least for a period early in the war. But the British quickly figured out how they could combat them. And one of the ways to combat American riflemen was to employ rifles of your own. And many of the riflemen that served the British military during the Revolutionary War were in fact Germans. Riflemen, known as Jägers in German, Jäger, which technically means hunter, were employed by the British to operate as light troops and marksmen during the Revolutionary War period. They wore green, distinctive uniforms, and they carried short-barreled, very German military rifles like this. The American rifle was ultimately, in its origin, something that came out of this tradition of German rifle making, but lengthened, changes to the stock profile and other details that made it a uniquely American weapon, while the German riflemen that served during the American Revolution brought weapons like these. Now, this is relatively plain and unadorned because it is a military rifle. It has sling swivels, so it can mount a sling on it, short-barreled, relatively large bored, and this particular example was made in Hanau. Now, the Hessen-Hanau riflemen served here during the American Revolution, the first contingent arriving in 1776 and serving in St. Leger's campaign against Fort Stanwix in 1777. They fought at the Battle of Oriskany, they retreated with that army, and by the end of September of 1777, the Hessen-Hanau riflemen actually came right here to Fort Ticonderoga and formed part of the last British garrison of this post. They evacuated with the rest of the army in early November of 1777 as they pulled back to Canada, where the Hessen-Hanau riflemen continued to serve for the rest of the American Revolution. They actually made a return trip to Fort Ticonderoga in the late fall of 1781 as part of the last British occupation of this post, nearing the end of the Revolutionary War, and they scouted from Ticonderoga as far as the southern end of Lake George in pursuit of intelligence and American enemies, carrying rifles very much like these, and there's a very good chance that this rifle itself crossed the grounds right here at Fort Ticonderoga during the American Revolution in the hands of these unique German riflemen that served as auxiliaries to the British during that conflict.